Please stand as the Washington High School cadets present our nation's flag under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Rodney Burmeister. Our national anthem will be sung by the Edison Middle School Inventions under the leadership of Mrs. Amber Sumwell. Please remain standing until the colors have left the gymnasium. Welcome to the Sonia Sotomayor Elementary Veterans Day celebration. We're gathered here today to honor the men and women who gave of their time and talents to serve our country. Our Veterans Day is the anniversary of the signing of the armistice, which ended World War I hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany on November 11, 1918. Veterans Day is now a national holiday to thank our veterans for our service.
Please turn your attention to the center of the gym for America's White Table, presented in English and Spanish by our 5th grade leadership students.
Margot Thieves Raven. It is a story about a little girl who learns about the sacrifices made by her uncle and so many other soldiers to grant us freedom. Her mother set a table like this one. La Mesa Blanca de Estados Unidos es un libro escrito por Margot Thieves Raven. Es una historia sobre una niña que se entera de los sacrificios hechos por su tío y muchos otros soldados para otorgarnos de la libertad. Su madre puso una mesa como esta. We use a small table to show one soldier's lonely back against many. We cover it with a white cloth to honor a soldier's pure heart when he answers his country's call to duty. Usamos una mesa pequeña para mostrar la soledad de un soldado en batalla contra muchos. La cubrimos con el mantel blanco en honor al corazón puro del soldado cuando contesta a la llamada del deber de su país. We place a lemon slice and grains of salt on a plate to show a captive soldier's bitter fate and the tears of the families waiting for their loved ones to return. Colocamos una rodaja de limón y granos de sal para mostrar el amargo destino de un soldado cautivo y despertarnos a las familias que esperan que sus seres queridos regresen. We push an empty chair to the table for the missing soldiers who are not here. Empujamos una silla vacía contra la mesa por los soldados desaparecidos que no están aquí. We lay a black napkin of the sorrow of captivity and turn over the glass of the meal that won't be eaten. Ponemos una servilleta negra para mostrar la tristeza de cautividad y damos la vuelta a un vaso por la comida que no se comerá. We place a white candle for peace and finally a red rose in a vase with a red ribbon for the hope that all our missing will return someday. Colocamos una vela blanca por la paz y una rosa roja en el florero atada con un lazo rojo, con la esperanza que todas las personas perdidas regresarán un día. We would now like to recognize the Sonia Sotomayor Elementary family members who have served or are currently serving our country.
Veterans, if you're here with us today, please stand and remain standing as all names are read.
Randy Anundson, Army Reserves.
Dean Arndt, Army.
Bill Anderson, Air Force. It's okay to clap after each one. They deserve it.
George Ahrens, Army National Guard.
Kevin Barrow, Marines.
Justin Blaze, Army National Guard.
Logan Bordwick, Marines.
Marcus Brooks, Air Force.
William Buck, Army National Guard.
Our very own David Booty, Navy.
Sorry, that would help me watch it. Bruce Carrier, Army.
Nick Cornelius, Army.
Les Cummings, Army, National Guard.
John Davis, Army.
Oscar DeVries, Air Force.
Matt Drangsveit, Air Force.
John Dunley, Army.
Ronald H. Eklund, United States Navy.
Danielle Fisher Connector, Air National Guard.
Jamie Fisk, Army Reserve.
Foster, Air Guard.
James Reese, Army.
Nicole Gruber, Air Force.
Chris Hathcock, Army and Air Force.
Tara Hathcock, Army and Air Force.
Claire Helly, Army.
Mike Kelly, Army.
Jada Heath, Air Force.
Jeremy Hill, Navy.
Alan Holte, Army.
Peter Island, Air Force.
Pete Johnson, Army.
Patrick Jones, Army National Guard.
Roland Calvin, Army.
Catherine Kleinjohn, Army National Guard.
Lindsay Kleinschmidt, Army National Guard.
Donald Larson, Army Guard.
Laverne Larson, Navy.
Travis Liddell, Army.
Christy Lone, Air National Guard.
Keith Metzger, Army.
Brandon Miller, Army.
Gregory Miller, Army and Air National Guard.
Neil Myron, Army National Guard.
Tim Nelson, Army.
William Knowles, Army.
Carmen Breeze, Army.
Glenn Rasmussen, Army.
Nathan Robertson, South Dakota Air National Guard.
Ray Brody, Navy.
Jim Severson, Navy.
Pete Severson, Navy.
Mike Smith, Marines.
Douglas Smoot, Coast Guard.
Brad Sorensen, Marine Corps.
Ron Strand, Army.
Amanda Tilburg, Navy.
Douglas Youthy, Air Force.
Dennis Ward, Army.
Eugene Ware, Navy.
Allie White, Army Reserve.
Cindy White, Army.
Inez White, Army.
Tim White, Army.
Grace Wilson, Air Force.
Zach Whip, Army.
Brian Lee, Army. Jason Tomlinson. Mr. Brooks also here in the front row. Thank you. Anyone else that hasn't been recognized on our list? Thank you. Thank you all. Well, and we forgot too, Mr. Cole. Cole as well. Doug Starr. He's here. Oh my God, I'm guessing today. I'll now turn this over to our own Natasha Kirkes.
I think everybody can have a seat. Los Lobos, can I have your ears open, eyes forward, voices off? Perfect. It's with honor that I get to introduce a special friend who's going to speak with you today. His name is Mr. Aaron Pollard. Aaron is the Deputy Secretary of the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs and works with over 65,000 veterans within the borders of South Dakota. Pollard attended high school in Brandon and then joined the United States Army and was discharged in 2005. Pollard began his career serving veterans in 2006 when he served as a Veteran Service Officer for the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs. In 2008, he was promoted to the Program Manager and Claims Officer Supervisor and served in this capacity until his appointment to Deputy Secretary. Aaron and his wife Tracy have 2 boys, Aiden and Cullen. When Pollard is not serving veterans, he can be found supporting his boys in hockey and lacrosse. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Aaron Pollard.
Good afternoon. Okay, we're going to start over. I know you guys had recess and lunch and you're tired, but good afternoon. Much, much better. Can I get my 2 gentlemen up here to help me? Today we're here to honor 2 very important men who are veterans of World War II. I'm going to start with Doug Starr. Doug's 94 years old and a retired college professor and a veteran of World War II and the Korean War. He grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and joined the Navy in 1943 when he was 17 years old. After basic training, he was assigned to a destroyer and fought for 2 years in the South Pacific Ocean, serving as a sonar operator to find enemy submarines. The crew found 2 and sank them. Lieutenant Commander Starr was in 24 island battles, clearing the beaches of enemy soldiers so U.S. soldiers and Marines could land safely. The most interesting part of his World War II duty was that his destroyer, the Nicholas, was the first ship in Tokyo Bay when the war was over. The ship transferred officials to the battleship Missouri to sign the surrender documents. Starr's destroyer was close enough, so he watched the officials sign those papers. After the surrender, his destroyer and 3 other ships went to a prison of war camp and freed 1,000 prisoners of war, or we call them POWs. After college, he hadn't had enough of the military, so he served in the Korean War, assigned to another destroyer, was in 4 more beach bombings. Starr retired in 1985 with 33 years of military service, and now he volunteers at the University Center helping University of South Dakota students with their class assignments. And now Simon has a little bit he'd like to share about his grandpa.
Hi, my name is Simon Cole and I'm in class 303. I would like to introduce to you someone very special to me, my grandpa Doug. My grandpa is a World War II veteran. I am very proud of my grandpa because he served in World War II and he also protected our country. A couple of things that makes my grandpa so special is that he cares for me, he's sweet, kind, and generous. Sometimes when I play cards with my grandpa, he catches me when I try to cheat, which never goes well. Anyway, I just want you to know, I love my grandpa so much, and this is my grandpa, Doug. Thank you.
Good job, buddy. All right, now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Laverne Larson. Laverne enlisted in the Navy at the age of 17 in 1943. He completed basic training at the Naval Training Center in Farragut, Ohio. He served on the USS Admiralty Islands CVE 99 aircraft carrier. The ship traveled to the South Pacific and its task was to transport aircraft, materials, and personnel to the frontline carrier operations. Laverne worked as a fireman in the engineering department aboard the ship. He was injured in November of 1944 and spent a few months at the Naval Hospital in San Diego, and he was honorably discharged in February of 1945. And now Camden would like to say a little bit about his grandpa.
Hi, my name is Camden
Nice job, gentlemen, nice job. Can I get Owen and Quinn to come up? Now they have a special gift for our 2 World War II veterans. And I kind of called a little bit of an audible when I got here that wasn't on the program, so I already talked to the 2 boys here, but our department a couple years ago came up with a World War II coin just to say thank you to our World War II veterans. On the front of the coin is the World War II memorial out in Pier, and then on the back are the branches of service, and it says South Dakota thanks the greatest generation. So I taught the boys how to do a challenge coin presentation when I got here, and we're going to see if they remember what I taught them. Okay? Remember how to do it? Here you go. Now I think you 2 are supposed to go sit down and behave, or stand by your grandpas, or sit with your class. I didn't get that briefing when we got here, so. Ms. Tosh mentioned that I'm the Deputy Secretary for the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs, and she just asked me to kind of come today and talk to you guys maybe a little bit about, I'm going to focus a little bit about Veterans Day, but not a whole lot. She wanted me to talk more maybe about hard work and dedication, and then another thing that in the military we call grit. So, all veterans are important to us, right? All veterans are important, but I'm standing next to 2 World War II veterans who we call them part of the greatest generation. Have you kids heard that before? World War II veterans, the greatest generation? Some of you have, some of you haven't. I taught you something today, so we're good there. But, the holidays are coming up. In 1941, the holidays were coming up. But on December 7th of 1941, we were attacked at a place out in Hawaii called Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. And what happened was the Japanese almost sank our entire Navy. And that's what entered us into what we call World War II. Millions of Americans, men and women, were called to either serve at home or abroad to try to defeat the Nazis and what they called the other Axis powers, or other Axis nations. And this brings me to why I wanted to talk to you guys today. This required hard work, dedication, and what we call grit. Hard times oftentimes make people tougher. I'm sure everybody in this room can think of something that they had to do that was really, really tough, right? At least one point in time or another. But when you came out on the end of that, you were probably just a little bit tougher when you came through the other end, weren't you? Our service members every day, they put on their uniforms and they go to work and they do the tough things. Nothing about fighting in a war is easy. But this is why our veterans work hard and dedicate themselves to our country, so that way we can be safe and we can be happy. But this also takes a little thing called grit. You don't have to be a veteran to work hard. You don't have to be a veteran to have grit. Everybody in this room, I think I can tell, is a hard worker just by looking at you. This looks like a hard-working group of people. Am I right or am I wrong? I kind of lost some of my hearing when I was in the military, so you got to be really loud. I can't hear you. So, you guys sometimes have your teachers ask you to work a little bit harder? So I'm sure each of you can think of a time when that was the case. Do you guys know why your teachers ask you to work a little harder? asking you to work a little bit harder because they know you got a little bit more in you. They know you got a little bit more gas in the tank, right? So they know how hard you guys can work. So, like Miss Tosh said, I have 2 boys, and now I watch them play hockey and lacrosse. I used to coach them in hockey and lacrosse, and one of the things my teams I always instill in them is that your brain quits before your body does. Does that make sense to everybody? Your brain quits before your body does? You might be working really, really hard on something, and you might want to quit. But if you tell your brain to keep going, it'll keep going. I guarantee it. Miss Tosh was recently on an elk hunt where it was 200 below zero, and I think she said 100 foot of snow, and she had to ford these massive rivers with rafts and all these things. I'll guarantee you when Miss Tosh was up in those mountains and it was cold and it was windy and it was miserable, I'll bet you her brain was telling her, boy, we should just quit what we're doing because this is silly, right? But Miss Tosh is here today because she told her body to keep going, okay? So that's what I really wanted to instill on you kids today is no matter how tough things get, you can always take another step, right? No matter how hard that math problem is, you can take one more stab at it. So just work hard, okay? I think I'm to the point where I'm boring everybody. So I'm almost done. I just have 20, 25 minutes of stand-up comedy I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get out of here. Fair enough? Okay. The final thing I want to leave you with is I have a homework assignment for each and every one of you in here, whether you have a relative that's a veteran, or you know somebody who's a veteran, or maybe you see a veteran walking on the streets and you just want to say hi. Ask a veteran for their story. Ask them to tell you their story. Okay? So everybody in here, that's your homework assignment. Ask them what their story is. These 2 gentlemen right here, I'll bet can tell you a tremendous story. Okay. Where are my kindergarten?
Kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, raise your hands. Kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, raise your hands.
Okay, you guys are on Team Pollard. Not Pollard, right? You guys are Team Pollard.
3rd, 4th, 5th, raise your hand. You're with me. Listen! You don't know what to do until you listen.
So, we have a lot of veterans sitting over here, and what we're going to do to say thank you to these veterans is we're going to make noise. But, hold on. It's a competition, though. I want to see if my group can make the most noise, or if her group can. So when I point at your group, you're going to go, whoop. When you get pointed at back there, you're going to go, whoop. That's what we say in the Army. I see a service member over here. We say that for just about everything. They ask you a question, you say, oh, whether it's yes, no, right, wrong, right? So, on 3, I'm going to point at my group first, and then Tasha's going to point at her group. We're going to see who can be the loudest.
My group doesn't go until I say.
Unless you want to help me out and be loud. I'm just kidding. All right, you guys ready?
2nd grade, you're going with Mr. Pollard on the count of 3.
1, 2, 3. Pretty good.
All right, Mr. Pollard, I get to work with these kids every day. I always have to teach them first because I like my ways sometimes better.
Do what you gotta do.
It's not a scream, but now, all you need to bring your voices down. On the count of 3, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And it's only 1. 1, 2, 3. All students, please stand. Voices are up! Voices are up! To show your respect for all the veterans in this room, please right now take your and put it over your. Repeat after me. Voices are up right now. We salute you. We salute you. We salute you. Turn this way. Turn this way. This is our third time. We salute you. What do we say? Have a seat.
Third grade. Someone announced it's third grade. You gotta speak really loud now, okay?
Now please turn your attention to our third grade students as they share the song Rainbow Flag, directed by Miss Melody Sanders.
Thank you to each of the veterans here and the families that supported them as they served our country. We would like to do our little tradition of dismissing the veterans first, and if you would line up, we'd love to come through and give everyone a high five. So if our veterans would go out to the door.